Hey y'all, I'm back with another video. And I think I want to give you guys some background on my move. So, people who know me personally watching this video, y'all know that I moved to Charlotte, North Carolina last summer, last June. And everything was going okay. I set myself up for success by getting a job at a leasing office because I knew I could do a job and a place to stay, killing two birds with one stone. And it sounded all well and good, and everything was going well until I got hurt. And that showed me not the face of the company, but more like the teeth of the company because they did not give a fuck about me at all. Like, at all. The only reason HR reached out to me to coordinate some care was because I sent them a nasty email about them not reaching out to me to coordinate some care. But this was like 3 days after, my incident happened in the leasing office in front of a customer. Like, nobody cared really. And then come to find out, my property manager was more concerned about if I liked her or not because I didn't reach out for her hand while I was on the floor. Like, girl, I can't feel my leg. When I tell y'all I really injured myself, I really should have sued them people. But it was the desperation of moving, and then within a month, like, I'm just now getting my finances back together, having money to spend outside of just the necessities. I got this major injury. And I did not have health insurance. And I actually thought about that on the way to the ground. Like, I fell over something, and like in mid fall, I'm like, oh shit, I don't got health insurance. Boom. Like, that's how it was. And that kind of set me up to believe that that wasn't a company I should have been working for, because I shouldn't be more concerned about health insurance than I am about hurting myself. And so anyway, when I fell, I couldn't feel the whole bottom part of my right leg down to my toes. Like, everything was completely numb. My leg was bleeding and my knee. And I was just like, I don't even know what's going to happen from here. I don't know if I broke something. Like, what's going to happen? I hope they don't try to call the ambulance or nothing, because definitely can't afford that. So they all just kind of stood around. By they, I mean the other people who were in the office. They came and made a circle around me and was like, dang, bro, you all right? And I was just more so like, I can't feel my leg, y'all. I don't know what's going on. I'm freaking out. And the assistant manager, she had less of a look of concern and more like shock. Like, to me, I feel like she felt guilty because she used to always shoot these little evil eye darts at me every day. And I believe energy is real. And so if you secretly wishing that I wasn't there, secretly wishing something, anything would happen to just make me go away, and then I hurt myself in your presence, you standing there looking like, and everybody else is more so, oh my God, but you look guilty, sis. And that's just how I feel. I will take that to my grave. That is my opinion, and I stand firmly on it. Like, it was a combination of my personal anxiety and your evil eye. And it actually, I mean, if that's what your intent is, and I'm not protected. I'm the innocent party here. I'm not even concerned about your hate. I see you looking me up and down every day. I see the hate in your eyes. I see and hear the fakeness when I finally speak to you with you even staring at me, the entire time I walk from the door to my desk, and you just, and I say, oh, good morning. You like, good morning. That's fake as fuck. So I feel like it was a combination of factors that led to my injury and eventual exit, because everyone who was involved in my workers' comp claim didn't give a fuck about me, the person. They were more so trying to protect the company. And like I said, I was just too desperate for money and time to truly pursue the case the way I should have. And so I decided to move out because it was a luxury community and the rent was just too high for me to be able to afford it on my own. without the discount, without my employee discount. So boom, I moved with this guy that I didn't really know. I had met him within that time span of me moving there. And so he's like, I don't want you to have to move back to Fayetteville. That's my hometown. I don't want you to have to move back. I do this, I do that. I can take care of you, whoop-de-woo. I had never in my life had to depend on a man. Like, I've always been more self-sufficient, low-key militant, very strategic with all my choices. And right around that same time last summer, I was coming to terms with the fact that I hadn't been in a relationship pretty much ever. And I wanted to be different, to try to get something different. So I thought that depending on him would make me more desirable, I guess, for a relationship, because all these other goofies been telling me, oh, you so independent, you're so da 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 da, I don't feel necessary, you know, in so many words. So like, let me actually be dependent and let him be a man. Bruh, when I tell you that was the worst decision I could have ever made in my entire fucking life, I mean that shit. And I'm not mad at myself for it anymore. I was mad at myself for a minute. But then when I realized, hell, all I was trying to do was survive, like always, that just wasn't the route I should have took, then, you know, all the guilt and shit melted away. But yeah, he actually quit his job. I don't know what sense that makes, but I didn't know this. I guess he did it that same week or whatever, because like I said, we moved kind of fast. So within that week, I not only had to worry about how I'm going to make it to the doctor, how I'm going to provide for myself. I didn't have an ID. They wouldn't see me at no doctors without an ID. The reason I didn't have an ID is because it got stolen. My wallet got stolen my first week I moved to Charlotte, North Carolina. Yes, I didn't have an ID. I didn't have any type of paperwork for my job. But I did have throbbing pain and a gash on my leg that needed to be taken care of. So shout out to my cousin Justin. He did come through, help me out, cook for me. You know what I mean? Like, made sure I was comfortable, spent time with me and everything while I was figuring it out. And I think it took about 2 or 3 days before I actually ended up emailing the company and putting some things in motion. So I was like, I literally can't be seen because I don't have identification. And the least y'all could do is give me something to say, hey, we're paying for this. Just see her. She works for us. Something. Come to find out, they did a whole lot more than that, but I had to put that fire up under their ass to get them to move. So anyway, found a new spot. He told me, you know, this is what my budget is. Find a spot between this and this amount. I'm going to move you. It's no problem. I move furniture for a living. We're going to get this taken care of because I don't want you to leave. I really like you. So I'm like, oh, dang. Maybe this is my Prince Charming and shit. Girl, we moved all right. But I ended up using my last paycheck from the job that I was leaving at the leasing office to move. When I was living in the city that I moved from, I planned that paycheck for me to catch up on my car note with. And so obviously I wasn't able to if now all of a sudden I have to move again. And I just got here a month ago. Like, I got to move again. I ended up putting up most of the money. This man ends up sleeping most of the time that I'm trying to, you know, get stuff done or have conversations with people at these other leasing offices, go and fill out some applications and whatever. He's tired. He's too sleepy. So later on down the line, I found out he was an alcoholic. That's why he was always sleepy in the middle of the damn day. Because you out till 4, 5 o'clock in the morning drinking and tricking off. But we're going to save that topic for a different day. I was making most of the moves and I overlooked his laziness because I was so desperate. And I was on the timeline. So I invested my own money. I invested the time I did have to do what I could. And we moved. By the time I moved in, I already didn't want to be with this man. Like, I wanted you out of my life completely. And his name wasn't even on the lease because he wasn't playing an active role. So the benefit I did have was that your name wasn't on the lease. The detriment I had was that your name wasn't on the lease. Hello, Jasmine. You living with a man who don't mind you having control over his life. It clicked. And I was like, oh my God, I got one of these again. And ever since I made that connection, it was all downhill. Once I realized the hole I dug for myself, it was no turning back. I couldn't climb up out of it. Lights in my name, car in my name, apartment in my name. I got food stamps because I wasn't working. That's the essentials. That's everything I need. The apartment took care of the water, and they didn't charge us a trash fee or nothing like that. So I don't really have a lot of extra expenses outside of my car insurance and, you know, stuff that I'm already used to paying, phone bill. Okay, so what I need you for? And I never really brought that to his attention because he also revealed that he had like some past demons he was dealing with. The girl who was dating before me was like mad abusive and she was a thot, so he had very low self-esteem. He was very insecure, and I really just didn't feel like dealing with being compared to his ex so much. It was overwhelming. I didn't feel like dealing with your drinking. I don't want to meet your fucking homeboys. I don't want to go to the pool hall. Like, I think this man really took me on like one date. And that was before we got into that apartment. So I moved in June, okay? Got the new apartment in August. By September, that nigga was gone, like in the dust. But mind you, I had to ask him 3 or 4 times. I think it was 4 times actually. Like, this is me breaking up with you. And I could tell by his emotional maturity, or lack of emotional maturity, he thought that was me trying to like get under his skin. As he told me one day, I say certain things to try to get you worked up. I'm like, I don't like to be worked up. I'm peaceful as hell. I'm like a little praying mantis over here. Why you want to get me worked up? Like, as my man, that should not be your objective ever. You should be wanting to continue to add to that peace and mellow nature that I have. But he wasn't a man. He was a boy trying to do a man's job. And that's how I ended up in a fucked up situation. So later on down the line, I ended up losing my job. Got another job. I was doing little odd jobs in between, like Lyft and stuff like that. I think I could drive after like 2 weeks or whatever, hurting myself. So I was doing Lyft. I was working at Panera Bread, and I feel like I was doing something else too. And, you know, just basically trying to make ends meet. I did that for a couple months. I was burnt the hell out, especially after I lost my job. In October, I started working for Amazon October 3rd. They fired my ass on my birthday 2 weeks later. I tell no lies. And I just had to put that on a background check for a job I'm about to get. So I hope they don't look at that and be like,